Roddy Ricch put out a snippet of a song this past week, and he was getting torched on the internet, and he ended up deactivating his Instagram and his Twitter, and the whole mental health conversation came up again. Like, a lot of people were like, man, like, yeah, y'all giving him such a hard time. Like, it's messed up. Like, we got to, value people's mental health. And while I completely agree, I'm a huge mental health advocate. On the flip side, I think the distinction is some people critique the music. Some people take it further and start to critique the person and get disrespectful and offensive to the person. Yeah. And so I don't think we should look at it in this like everyone is attacking him as a person. It's kind of just like when you're an artist and you put out an album that people don't like, it's just you're going to have your moment where people are slandering what you put out. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that people like I don't hate Roddy Ricch as a person. I don't know him to hate him, but like I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to him being able to bounce back and put out a good project. We know he's capable. His mixtapes, and please excuse me for being antisocial, prior to Live Life Fast, were all good. So he's very capable. But Alex, you and I kind of had an exchange on Twitter about it, like just the snippet. And one thing you brought up, it was a conversation I had with someone else with regards to 2 Chainz. You were like, I can accept this okay sounding track from Roddy or this good sounding track from Roddy because there's other stuff out here that isn't as good. So I kind of wanted to lead into a conversation about like just critiquing music for it is, and then also kind of comparing to other things, because it's natural to compare. That's what we do. Like that's what Twitter is. People put one album greater than another album, and like the albums might be completely different, but at the end of the day, like that's just what we do. We naturally compare things. So I kind of wanted you to speak on that a little more, like why that was the lens in which you kind of looked at the Roddy Ricch snippet and assessed it.
Well, for one, we do it with Drake all the time. Mm-hmm. Drake just put out Certified Lover Boy, and a lot of us already knew a lot of those records were confirmed to be leaks. Mm-hmm. We knew that. A lot of us knew that, and we still listen to the album, and it's still streamed high because he's Drake. Mm-hmm. So you know what I'm saying? It's like, with Roddy Ricch, we know what he did with Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, correct? That's the name of the first one?
Yep. Yeah.
We know what he did with it. Mm-hmm. We know the effect it had on all of us. Yeah. We know the numbers it did. So if I know this young man is capable of doing this, and naturally, we know how sophomore slumps go. Yeah. As a matter of fact, we expect it out of people. Mm. On round 2, if you really pay attention for the rookie artists, on round 2, we usually don't expect much.
Mm. That's the hardest one.
That's the hardest, because all of us, again, know that, because we are always so attached to the first one. Mm-hmm. So again, I'm not calling Roddy Ricch Drake, but if we can say, yo, these really good artists make good bodies of work, and now all of the music is gonna sound like what that first one sound, then we should create that grace for them. Yeah. If we can do it with Drake, we can do it with other people. Like, other people make good music. And another thing what people don't understand, Armon, is the process of making music. I recently opened this episode with saying I just got my first placements.
Congrats.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
In these times, in these sessions, I've been with these artists. And a lot of these fans, bro, really don't understand what it takes to even create a hook.
Talk to them, bro.
Really?
They have no, and Nic's an artist. He can speak to it. They wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even know where to begin. Fuck a verse. Fuck a 16. Fuck a bridge. Fuck a beat switch. They wouldn't even know where to start with a hook. And it's so easy for them to berate people that are consciously trying to make an effort. Roddy Ricch this week, right? He posted a snippet that you're talking about. In his story before he deleted it, he said, I guess I'm a flop now.
Wow.
So now a guy that we know makes good music has listened to the internet and is now affected while he's trying to give y'all a better version of what y'all didn't like. Boy was so hyped, he dropped a snippet. See, I don't know see, a lot of people that don't make music don't know what that means. We dropping a snippet because I'm so connected to this little piece right here that I just want a little feedback.
Right.
So y'all don't gotta love it.
Right.
But come on now.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Come on now.
As y'all, because I'm like I'm aware. I'm not a music guy, right? I'm a casual music consumer.
Right.
I listen to what I listen to. I like what I like. Right. I rely on this guy for all of the
got us, bro.
informative music takes. Like I rely on him. But one thing I didn't notice with Roddy, because he was such like a megastar, and he came not out of nowhere, but in a mainstream sense, like the Grammys and those awards and that limelight, he kind of came out of nowhere, and it's a lot of pressure, you know? 100%. He kind of took some time off a little bit, some would say, from his last project, but you guys just being so involved and in tune with music, like, where do you think he went wrong on this project? Was it mismanagement from the label, you know? Did they kind of prop him in a position maybe he just wasn't ready for, you know? Like, where did they go wrong with Roddy?
So a lot of people feel like he waited too long. I don't think he waited too long. A 2-year wait is not.
Me neither.
That's not a.
It's a normal cycle,
especially coming off that type of album.
Yeah, like Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial still streams hard. I still hear the box on the radio. Like that album was successful. So I don't think waiting 2 years was the problem. The rollout wasn't really too intentional. He put out late at night, early 2021. We didn't get another single. Like he announced the album, put out the cover art. Cover art was dope. The film thing he did, like no skips only. He did like a film poster, but he didn't really get momentum going. And so it felt like either him or the label felt like he was big enough where he could just put this out and it's going to impact the people. And like getting into the actual music of it, I felt like he kind of deviated from what was his strongest thing, was blending rap and melodies. It felt like he was trying to rap more. And not that that's a bad thing, but keys. Like his vocals were kind of monotone. He sounded bored. He didn't sound inspired. And the problem was he went on KD and Bansky's pod talking about, yo, nobody else's music is inspiring me. Like I got some shit coming for y'all. So he hyped it up. He put that expectation on himself in addition to putting out good music. And that's the danger of being successful, is the expectations heighten. And then hearing that is like, this doesn't feel like there was effort or thought put into it. He didn't sound excited on his album. It didn't. Okay. I don't feel like we learned anything new from him. And like he did an interview in 2020 where he talked about how he didn't want to rush his next album. He wanted to live life and have more stories to tell.
Right.
Nothing. But besides him, I think he's a father now. He's about to become a father. And he talked about that a little bit. But besides that, I didn't really feel like I learned anything new about him.
Got it.
So to talk all that shit and then not really deliver on the shit talk is like, so that's where I feel he went wrong.
That makes sense.
No, he said it all. What was the story? What was different sonically? How you elevating the music? All of the things. It was just like, and also too, the rollout felt very, very rushed.
Yeah,
it felt look at the cover art.
Taking so much time, right?
Yeah.
No,
look at the cover
again,
art.
I was excited for it because that last project, it was so dope. It was no skips. I think a lot of people were excited for it. And you play the first few songs, you're like, okay, it's starting off a little bit slow, and then you kind of get to a point where you're like, yo, this doesn't get better. Like, oh shit, like, hey, yo, what happened? Let me come back to this bullshit.
I might come back to this maybe.
Yeah.
So what happened to the pianos?
Yeah.
What happened to the organs?
The guitar.
What happened to the chords?
Bruh.
Happened to the guitar?
Yeah.
Bruh.
I remember when he was touring Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. You remember, Nick? You know what I'm about to say? Here come Roddy on stage learning how to play chords on the piano as he's recording. And you could hear how all of that was already wrapped and engulfed into that album. When he put out that single this year, it sounded like that was the last bit of Antisocial.
Yeah.
Like probably like one of the last records.
Didn't make it. And then he just started to make very fun music.
Yeah. And that's no problem, Roddy.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, Playboy, after you made a deep-ass album like that, you successfully blended trap, soulful elements,
a little bit of gospel in there.
A little bit of gospel with the chorus and the you were able to concoct something so beautiful and call it hip hop, bro. And then you, on your sophomore joint, bro, it just sounds like you got dudes that are accredited with beat making, but it sounds like regular club beats, bro.
Yeah.
And you just doing regular Roddy on it. Regular Roddy sounds good. That's why I'm not killing him, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
But dog, you gotta know.
You're capable of more.
If you heard the chords you used on that first album, dog, and it's not a lick of that on that second one, come on, bro. Yeah. What would you expect the fans to expect from you? Do you think they're expecting that club music or that fucking deep ass beautiful masterpiece you just gave them?
Yeah. It's like he went from I'm an artist to I'm a rapper.
I'm a rapper.
So he boxed himself into, hey, I just want to be a rapper. I'm gonna get all of these rappers who are hot, who got the hooks, who got whatever, the Futures, the Lil Babies, everybody. I'm gonna put that collective on my art. And bro, you could go get Kirk Franklin and make some fire. Bro. You could go get whomever and make some fire. You don't have to box yourself.
As his guys.
Yeah, you don't have to like box yourself in. And I feel like he kind of boxed himself in. Like him and Ty Dolla $ign on that first album. That was one of my favorite songs of the last 2 years.
Barely used Ty on this last one. It was a 1 minute song.
Yeah, so
what are we doing?
Again, just going back to Isaiah Rashad, like prayers for artists and people who are going through things. Like it's two different extremes, right? When it comes to Isaiah Rashad, his sexuality, and now with Roddy, it's his music, it's his art. You know, they still probably going through similar situations because they don't feel accepted. And I think again, just us, we have a tough job as podcasters, as people who give our thoughts, our opinions, and do it on a weekly basis, you know? But when it comes to the music, I think I'm a little bit tougher, right? So on my podcast, I'm a little bit tougher on people because I like it or I don't. I'm not mincing my words. If that shit is ass, I'm gonna get on there. And then he gotta pull me back, like, bro, you can't use the word ass when talking about music. I'm like, it's ass, my nigga, what's up?
If something is some ass, it's ass.
Like that's how I do it. You know, but I understand
Yeah.
that people who actually are invested in the process of making music, like going back to Alex's point about making music, there used to be a time back a few years ago where me and my friends, we would smoke, we would just throw on an instrumental, and we would try to rap.
Yeah.
We would just try to rap, right?
Course,
so you start out with the fucking Mob Deeps and the Jada Kids, because it's easy to catch those pockets, right? It's easy to catch those pockets. But then I dare anybody listening to this podcast, just throw on About the Money by Young Thug and T.I. And tell me when you're supposed to start rap. Like, how do you niggas pick up where you hear this? How do you stay on beat? How do you make a chorus out? What the fuck do these niggas be doing? Like, that's how I feel.
How did Young Thug hear that beat and do what he did?
Anybody hear that beat and say, yeah, we about to make this the hottest song of 2016, 2015.
Just to catch that pocket,
it doesn't, bro, it doesn't. It's fucking amazing what these artists do. So I understand the nuances in that. But yeah, man, prayers to everybody who feels like their music being slept on.
And you want to know what I love about this conversation is we are critiquing, not judging. We're coming from a place of love. A lot of social media discourse around music, it blurs between critique and judgment. Critique comes from a place of love. Judgment is you're saying negative things about someone. You're trying to be offensive. You're trying to slander them. And I think we have to do a better job of distinguishing critique versus judgment. Because a lot of people be like, oh, you're hating, you're being disrespectful. No. The only reason we would spend damn near 10 minutes talking about Roddy is because we know what he's capable of and we love what he did prior. We know, bro, I want you to bounce back. I don't want to see you get lost and like never put anything else out again. Like no, like you're not a flop. That album was a flop, but that just means come harder next time. Right. Like, that's really what it is.